もしこれを簡単に聞くことができれば、あなたの英語はアメリカでの日常生活に十分なレベルです。ネイティブのように英語を学ぶ準備はできましたか？始めましょう。
Have you ever made a wish that came true in a way you did not expect? This is the story of Josh Baskin, a 12-year-old boy who made a wish to be big, and his whole life changed overnight. Josh lived in a house in a town called Cliffside Park in New Jersey. Life was okay. He had a mom and a dad. He also had a baby sister. He had to share his room with his baby sister, which was not always fun. Next to his house lived his best friend. His friend's name was Billy. Billy was a great friend. He had red hair and a cool black leather jacket. Josh and Billy did everything together. They were the best of friends. But being 12 years old was hard sometimes. Josh felt he was not a little boy anymore. But he was not a grown-up man either. He was in the middle. This was a big problem for him. There was a girl Josh liked very much. One night, there was a carnival in town. A carnival is a fun place with games and rides. Josh went with his family. The carnival was bright and loud. There were happy sounds everywhere. Josh saw the girl at the carnival. She was with an older boy. The boy was tall. He was tall enough to go on the scariest ride. The ride was called the Ring of Fire. Josh wanted the girl to see him. He wanted to look brave. So he went to the line for the ride. He stood up very tall. He hoped he was tall enough. When it was his turn, a man stopped him. The man worked at the ride. He put his hand on Josh's shoulder. "Sorry, kid," the man said. He pointed to a red line on a sign. "You must be this tall to go on the ride." Josh was not tall enough. He was too short. Josh felt very sad and embarrassed. His face felt hot and red. He saw the girl looking at him. He felt so small. He wished he was not small. He wished he was big. He thought if he was big, he would have no problems. He walked away from the rides. He felt very sad. He walked to a dark part of the carnival. There, he saw a strange, big box. It was made of wood. It had a face on the front with a beard and a turban. The sign on the box said, Zoltar. It was a machine that tells your fortune. It looked very old. It looked like magic. Josh felt like he had to go to the machine. He read the words on it. The words said, "Make a wish." He thought about the ride. He thought about the girl. He really, really wanted to be big. He looked in his pocket. He found one coin. He put the coin in the machine. The machine started to make a low sound. The eyes on the Zoltar face started to glow red. It was a little scary. Josh closed his eyes. He made a wish. It was the biggest wish of his life. He whispered to the box, "I wish I were big." The machine made a loud noise. A small card came out of a slot. Josh took the card. It said, "Your wish is granted." Josh felt a little funny. Then he saw something strange. There was a black cord on the ground. It was the power cord for the machine. But it was not in the wall. The machine was unplugged. How did it work? Josh was confused. He put the card in his pocket. He went to find his mom and dad. It was time to go home. The next morning, Josh woke up in his bed. The sun was coming in his window. He stretched his arms, but something was wrong. His pajamas felt very small. They were too tight. He got out of his bed. His feet made a loud, heavy sound on the floor. He walked to the mirror to look at his face. He screamed. The person in the mirror was not him. It was a man. The man was about 30 years old. He had dark hair. He had the start of a beard on his face. He was very tall. He was a stranger. But the stranger was him. Inside, he was still Josh. But outside, he was a big man. He was very, very scared. His heart started to beat very fast. Thump, thump, thump. This was a big mistake. He did not want to be this big. He ran out of his room. He ran down the stairs. "Mom!" he yelled, but his voice was not his voice. It was a deep voice. It was a man's voice. His mom was in the kitchen. She saw the big man. She screamed. She did not know it was Josh. She saw a strange man in her house. He was wearing her son's pajamas. She was very scared. She thought the man had hurt her son. "Who are you?" she cried. "Where is my son?" She grabbed a big knife from the kitchen counter to protect herself. "Mom, it's me. It's Josh," he said, but his deep voice made her more scared. She chased him. She pushed him out of the house. "Go away!" she screamed. The door shut behind him. Josh was standing on the street. He was wearing pajamas that were now like shorts. He was all alone. He was big on the outside, but inside he felt like a very small, lost boy. There was only one person who could help him. It was his best friend, Billy. Josh ran to Billy's school. He saw Billy playing outside. "Billy, it's me, Josh," he called. Billy saw a big man yelling his name. He was scared. "I don't know you. Leave me alone," Billy said. He started to walk away. "No, Billy, wait. It's really me," Josh said. He had to prove it. "I know our secret song." Then, in his new, deep voice, he started to sing a silly song. Only he and Billy knew that song. Billy stopped. His eyes got very big. He looked at the man. It could not be true. But it was their song. It was Josh. "Wow," Billy said. "The Zoltar machine. It really worked." They knew what they had to do. They had to find the machine. They had to unwish the wish. But they went to the place where the carnival was. It was just an empty field. The carnival was gone. Billy called some places. He found out that the carnival traveled around. It would take 6 weeks to find where it went. 6 weeks. Josh was a grown-up now. He could not go home. His mom was too scared of him. He could not go to school. He was too big. He needed a place to live. He needed money to buy food. Billy was a very good friend. He went home and got his piggy bank. He gave Josh all the money he had saved. "You have to go to the big city," Billy said. "You need to find a job. A job is work you do to get money." So Josh took a bus to New York City. The city was so big. The buildings were like giants. There were so many people. Everyone was rushing. Josh felt very small inside his big body. Billy helped him find a room in a hotel. It was not a nice hotel. It was a cheap and dirty place. The room was small and dark. At night there were loud, scary noises in the building. Josh was so scared. He pushed a big soda machine in front of his door so no one could come in. He was very lonely. He missed his mom and dad. He missed his own bed. He even called his mom on the phone. He pretended he was a man who had taken Josh. He did this so he could hear his mom's voice. He told her that Josh was safe. It was a bad lie, but it was the only thing he could do. The next day, Josh needed to find a job. He saw an ad for a job at a toy company. The company was called the Macmillan Toy Company. The job was to put numbers into a computer. It was called data entry. He got the job. He sat in a small gray space called a cubicle. He typed numbers all day. It was very, very boring. He was in a building full of toys, but he could not play. One Saturday, Josh was walking in the city. He went into a very big toy store. The store was called FAO Schwartz. It was like a dream. There were toys everywhere. While he was looking at toys, he saw an older man in a suit. The man was Mr. McMillan, the owner of the toy company. Josh did not know he was his boss. Then, Josh saw something amazing. It was a giant piano. The piano keys were on the floor. You could walk on them to make music. Josh forgot he was a grown-up. He stepped on the keys. He started to play a song with his feet. Mr. McMillan saw him. The old man smiled. Josh started to play a song called Heart and Soul. Mr. McMillan walked over. He stepped on the piano too. He started to play the song with Josh. They jumped and danced on the giant piano. Then they played another song called Chopsticks. They were both laughing. It was so much fun. For the first time in a long time, Josh felt happy. Mr. McMillan liked Josh very much. "You really know what is fun," he said. "You understand toys." A few days later, Mr. McMillan asked Josh to come to a big meeting. All the important people from the company were there. At the meeting, another executive was showing a new toy. He was a very serious man. The toy was a building that could change into a robot. The man talked about how much money the toy would make. All the other adults in suits nodded their heads. Then Mr. McMillan asked Josh, "What do you think?" Josh looked at the toy. He held it in his hands. He looked at all the serious faces. He said, "I don't get it. What's fun about it?" The room was very quiet. The other executive looked very angry. But Josh explained that kids want to play. A toy should be fun. A building that turns into a robot was not very fun. He gave them new ideas for toys that kids would love. Mr. McMillan was very happy. He loved that Josh was honest. He loved his ideas. That day he gave Josh a new job. It was a very important job. Josh was now the vice president of product development. His job was to play with toys and tell the company which ones were fun. It was the best job in the world. The new job came with a lot of money. Josh got a new place to live. It was a very big apartment called a loft. Josh filled his new home with fun things. He bought a pinball machine. He bought a machine that gives you soda. He bought a big trampoline. He did not get a normal bed. He got a bunk bed, just like a kid. His apartment was a playground for a grown-up. At his new job, Josh met a woman named Susan. Susan was smart and pretty. She was also an executive at the company. Susan was very serious about her work. She used to be the girlfriend of another executive at the company. She was tired of all the serious men at work. Then she met Josh. Susan liked Josh because he was different. He was not serious all the time. He was honest and playful. He made her laugh. He showed her how to have fun again. One day they were at his apartment. He showed her his trampoline. Soon they were both jumping up and down on it. They were laughing like children. Susan started to like Josh very much. Josh liked Susan too. She was very nice to him. He felt happy with her. They started to spend a lot of time together. They went to parties. They went to dinner with her friends. Josh was living a grown-up life. He had a big job, a nice apartment, and a girlfriend. But things started to get hard. The job was a lot of pressure. He had to do more than just play. He had to write long reports about the toys. It was hard work. It was stressful. He started to forget how to be a kid. He was always busy with work or with Susan. He did not have time to see his best friend Billy anymore. One day, Billy came to visit Josh at his big office. Josh was on the phone. He was talking about business. He sounded like a real grown-up. Billy felt sad. He felt like he was losing his friend. "You are different now, Josh," Billy said in a small voice. Josh felt sad in his heart. He missed playing with Billy. His life with Susan was also hard. She wanted to be more serious. She wanted them to live together. Josh was scared. He was not a real grown-up inside. He was still a boy. How could he live with her? One night, he tried to tell her his secret. "I am not who you think I am," he said. But Susan did not understand. She thought he was just scared to be with her, like other men. Josh felt more alone than ever. Then, Mr. McMillan gave Josh a very big project. He had to create a new line of toys. He had to show his ideas to the whole company. Susan helped him with the business parts, but Josh felt so much pressure. One day, he was sitting in his office. He was looking at charts and reports. He picked up a toy, but he did not want to play. The fun was gone. All he felt was stress. He missed his mom. He missed his house. He missed being a kid. At that moment, the phone rang. It was Billy. He was yelling, and he sounded very excited. "Josh, I found it! I found the Zoltar machine!" Billy had found it at a park by the ocean. The park was called Sea Point Park. Josh's heart started to beat fast. This was his chance. He could go back. He could be a kid again. But what about his job? What about his cool apartment? What about Susan? He was confused. But then he looked at his stressful office. He knew what he had to do. He was in a big meeting. He was showing his new toy ideas to Mr. McMillan. Right in the middle of the meeting, he stood up. He walked out of the room. Susan was very surprised. She ran after him. Outside, she saw Billy. Billy told her where Josh was going. Susan got in her car and drove fast to Sea Point Park. She found Josh there. He was standing in front of the Zoltar machine. It was quiet and dark next to the ocean. When Susan saw the machine, she understood. She saw the old card from the machine in Josh's hand. She knew he was telling the truth. Her heart felt very sad. The man she liked was going to be gone. "I'm sorry," Josh said. His voice was sad. He told her thank you for all the fun times. Then he had an idea. "You could make a wish, too," he said. "We could be kids, together." Susan looked at him. Her eyes were full of tears. She smiled a little, sad smile. She was already a grown-up. She could not go back. She chose to stay in her life. "I think I'll stay here," she said. It was a very sad goodbye. She knew she was losing someone special, but she knew he needed to go home. She said she would drive him. Josh went to the Zoltar machine. He made his wish. "I wish I was a kid again," he whispered. There was a flash of light. He opened his eyes. He looked at his hands. They were small again. The big suit he was wearing was now very, very big on him. He was a kid again. Susan drove him back to his street. They said one last goodbye. He would miss her, but he was so happy to be himself again. He got out of the car. He ran down the street to his house. He saw his mom. "Mom!" he yelled. She turned and saw him. She was so happy. She ran and hugged him. It was the best hug in the world. He was home. Then Billy came running out of his house. They all hugged. Josh was back where he belonged. Being big was an adventure, but being a kid with his family and his best friend was the best thing in the world. He learned that it is important to enjoy every part of life one day at a time. He kept the big coat that Susan gave him. It was a way to remember his big adventure.
Great job on finishing the story. You're one step closer to mastering English. See you in the next video.